Conscious Crew. It is your favorite breakdown commentator, CTV. Welcome to another riveting episode of the COSIGN platform. Happy Tuesday. Girl, you already know what we're here to get into the things. I will be dropping the link, honey, letting you guys come up and sound off. It's a lot going on. All right, before we get into this discussion, please give me an old nasty piece of thumbs up. Not only does thumbing up help with YouTube's algorithm, but more importantly, it triggers up YouTube's notification system. So when you are thumbing up the video, you are literally knocking on the digital door of another Conscious crew member and telling them to get their arses into the sanctuary, because the Kang is in fact Kang gang. So whether you are a part of the replay gang, a Bush baby, or you're actively in these streets right now, give me an old free 99 thumbs up. And shout out to my baby mother Teresa for the old nasty piece of child support check, girl, because we are in fact working, honey. Okay, I love when y'all throw coin, honey, on a bitch before I even take the stage, child. Okay, also make sure that you guys have your notification bell set to all. Make sure that you are subscribed, and shout out to all of the subbies. And last but not least, please share the stream to wherever it is you have digital community, whether that be your YouTube community wall, your Snapchat, your Instagram, your Insta story, your MySpace, your Facebook, the dark side of Twitter, Tumblr, or your personal OF. I don't really give a damn where you lay the link. Let them whores know the real loud, live, and in color. And with no further ado, let's go ahead and push on through.
I know a place where you can recharge your soul.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
And in the midst of brokenness, he gon' see your asshole.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
You gon' heal, you gon' laugh and catch a little shade.
Ooh, girl.
Y'all know he be slaying, y'all better stop playing. Come hear what he's saying.
Ladies and gentlemen.
On period. Hold on, y'all. Let me heart my baby mother's child support check. Yeah. Okay, let me speak to the Conscious crew coming into the sanctuary, y'all. Please continue to thumbs up. Moderators, please encourage the subbies and the supporters to thumbs up the video. And Curry, honey, what's going on? Sherry, hey Latera, what's going on? Jose's point of view, hey Deborah, hey Shauna, hey Mika, what's going on? Used to be the sweetest gal, hey Star, hey Queens, be more, hey Shayla, hey Serene Life. What's going on? Hey, A. What's going on, Perp? Hey, Valerie. Hey, Ray. What's going on, Ashley? Hey, Stan. What's going on, Means Beans? Hey, Queens Aries. Hey, Tanika. Hey, Miss Old School. What's going on, Corey? Hey, Steven Black. What's going on? Hey, Valerie. Hey, Lady Trey. Hey, Latera. What's going on, Pangal? Hey, Gemini. What's going on, Lady Virgo? Hey, Sandy. What's going on, Bessie? Hey, Boo. What's going on, Krishan? Hey, Boo. Quayshawn. What's going on? Hey, Brown Stone. What's going on? Hey, Natural Honey. Hey, Royalty DNA. What's going on, AMP Lex? What's going on, Alvin and Charles? Hey, y'all. Hold on. I got another child support check, honey. Did I just hear the piggy bank swivel? Oh, yes, I did. To my baby mother, Sophia. Thank you for the old nasty beast. A child support chef for keep doing you. And we'll do, boo. I'm going to do you and I'm going to do me at the same time. So, y'all, we got a lot going on. I was over here minding my business and y'all's too. And fucked around and had Carlos King pop up in my damn news feeds, honey. And he had the Funky Dineva over there, honey, giving away all of the sacreds to the kingdom, honey. Now, Funky Dineva talked about a lot of things. He talked about reality TV. He talked about moving back to Atlanta because he's going to be doing some nighttime television stuff, girl. And he's got to get back into the, swing of the Atlanta circuit, girl, where everybody is putting on these non-residual, non-income producing ass clothing lines and perfume lines and eyelash wear lines, girl. And he's just got to get back in the mix with the fakest of the fake, girl. Okay, and doing what he does. He also spoke about being in love, honey. He's been in love for a year, so I assume that this is the same guy that he was dating when he was on TGIF. I know he had started dating somebody really special. I think they went through a little rough patch for a minute. The guy had got kind of distant. Funky Dineva didn't really want to talk about it, but it looked like they kind of made it over the hump. I'm assuming this is the same love interest. And this boo lives in Atlanta, works in a corporate space. And that's a part of the reason why he is moving from Miami, high-ass, expensive-ass Miami, back to Atlanta. But we also know that Funky Dineva is not receiving a $250,000 a check, girl, okay? So that probably is another goddamn reason he hauled an ass up out of Miss Miami, baby, okay? You know, because he could ball on a budget from his YouTube residual, girl, in Miss Atlanta, honey. But that YouTube check in Miami, baby, is looking like change, okay? He also spoke about how he makes, you know, at this point about $50,000 a year, you know, when he's really pressing the gas. When he's not pressing the gas, he's averaging out to about $38,000. So, you know, he's making a few $100,000, a few $100,000 a year, you know, $500,000 according to him. So, you know, all the things, other things. Now, everybody was there, girl, to get into the TGIF catastrophe, girl. You guys have been given Blue's Clues. And I just want to say, you know, can we just give credit to CTV, girl? Because I've been giving y'all the tea. I've been giving y'all what I could give y'all, and it's all been proven to be very accurate. If you've been listening to what has been coming up, girl, I already told y'all, unlike these clout chasing assholes, I don't really talk about who I'm connected to and how connected I am, girl. I keep telling y'all that this industry space, the social media space, is a very small world. People usually run in, you know, the same circles and similar circles and adjacent circles, girl. So, you know, all the things, girl. I got the all-seeing eye, honey, okay? And now as more things come up and out, you know, I'm able to remind y'all of what I was putting y'all up on from the very beginning, you know, but because some of y'all are so delusional and so obsessed with some of these raggedy assholes y'all be standing for, girl, y'all just be slapping these delusional ass narratives on situations, and y'all don't be knowing what the fuck y'all be talking about. Y'all don't be having no type of relationship to nobody behind the fourth wall. Y'all don't be actually plugged in and connected to the actual situation, and be strong and wrong and loud as all goddamn hell and standing. And, you know, just like a true mystic, I just be waiting for, you know, just waiting for truth to prevail. Because if that's one thing I am seasoned and elder enough in my wisdom to understand, is truth always prevail in the proper and rightful time. And we gonna talk about it, okay? Now, one of the major jaw-dropping moments is that Funky Dineva went into a conversation about what happened for him as it relates to TGIF and his opinions about someone that he really doesn't know that well. They have a very casual, passive relationship. Of course, he was talking about his association with Wendy Wiggins. And I'm going to let you hear what he had to say. I'm not going to get into Funky Dineva commentary about the pay and TGIF and all of this shit and show rates and day rates. We have gone through that shit a trillion fucking times. I don't give a damn. And Funky still ain't being completely transparent about the situation. And I just don't feel like playing the Dineva games with his ass for the trillionth goddamn time. Okay? So y'all can deal with all of that. Listen to this.
You know, I'll say it on camera because I'll say it to his face. Armon, you do need to grow up a little bit. You need to grow up a lot of bit. And I think once he grows up a little bit and matures, I think that the universe is definitely going to open up and give him all the things that he deserves. Why do you think he needs to grow up? In what aspect? Have you seen him say that? Just from like an older person once being young. You know what I'm saying? It's just not one particular thing or another. It's just you know, there's just a small, from my perspective, it's just a small maturity factor that is missing. You know, coupled with obviously, you know, some things that I know that kind of transpired in the background with Foxhole and all that type of stuff. There's just a maturity piece there. And this is not a read or not to be messy, but Armon, and I'm telling you, it's kind of like, granted, we don't have a big brother, little brother relationship, but if I could be in this space, a big brother, like once he's got it, he's got the stuff. Baby, Armon has next. He's got the stuff. And as two gay black men in this business who are successful, I agree. I think he's definitely got it. He has it. He's very talented. Have you? Well, let me go backwards. Has he ever just reached out to you for advice or? No. So he interviewed. So we met once because he interviewed me once. He came down to Miami. And so that's kind of how we fostered our relationship. And then when the Fox Soul situation came out, when he was in the running, like we definitely did have several conversations. And I just like, do this, do that. You should ask for this. You shouldn't ask for that. Here is the lay of the land type of thing. And I definitely, I will say this. I feel like in that situation, I did for him what I would want someone to do for me at a job. Like I'm like, here is the official handbook to how to do the job, and then here is the unofficial handbook. Here is all the backstory. Stay away from this bitch. Don't talk to this one. Watch what you say in front of this one. Ask for this. Ask for that. Don't do this. Don't do like. I literally gave him all of my experience. I poured into him because I would want somebody to do that for me. You know what I'm saying? So that has been our relationship. We're not like super close and we don't talk on the phone, but I would do that for anybody that was coming in behind me. When I made my departure, I wanted that show to succeed. I did.
All right, so that particular soundbite was fully loaded, okay? Here it is, y'all heard Funky Dineva say that Wendy Wiggins needs to grow the fuck up. He is as mature. He is as immature and is as much of a emotional damn midget who lacks emotional intelligence, who lacks emotional fortitude, who lacks mental fortitude, as everybody has been saying that he is, okay? And this is really interesting for me because, Wendy Wiggins would call anybody with any level of criticism, whether it's constructive or not, to be a goddamn hater. But even people who don't even have a stake in a race, people who haven't even been burnt by him or haven't even been slotted by him or having nonetheless the same experience of him. And let me really give Funky motherfucking Dineva, now that I think about it, girl, let me give you your flowers, okay? Because this is what I mean by standing on motherfucking business. And this is the type of feedback that a bitch actually needs, okay? What Wendy Wiggins doesn't need is somebody sitting in his damn face trying to make him feel like he has no responsibility and the shit that goes completely left, as if he has no stake in why people experience him the way that he does. So shout out to Funky Dineva, who is not thirsty enough, is not pressed enough, completely does not and is not looking to gain anything from his association from Wendy Wiggins, and can actually give him some big boy ass, constructive ass, non-biased feedback and just call it down the motherfucking middle. If we had more people who had integrity, who had the wits, people who don't have no ulterior motive, people who actually stand on the squares they claim they stand on, and could chin check people and give them what they actually need, I think that this system would work a lot better. I think that the community, that the entertainment business in general would move with a lot more fluidity if we had people who was saying it how it need to be said. Okay, now I'm going to tug on Funky Dineva wigless wig as well, okay? But I do got to give him props because despite him having proximity to Wendy Wiggins, despite them having an association. They sat down and interviewed, etc. Girl, that did not keep his ass for letting him know that you a little ass girl. You act like a toxic 13-year-old ass teenage white bitch. You need to grow the fuck up. Like, girl, you know, it's time for the math to fucking math. You're not 28, you know, even though those big ass teeth may look 21, girl, you are 34. You are shy of 6 years from being a 40-year-old ass man. It's time to get it together. And everybody is not lying, and everybody is not a fucking hater, and everybody is not this and that, bitch. Like, it is what it is. And your felt relationships and gigs are just indicative of all of the things. So shout out the Funky girl, okay? Because that was really dope. Okay, and like you said, girl, I ain't gonna say nothing behind this bitch back that I can't say to her motherfucking face. She need to grow up. She need to mature up. And that ain't all she had to say. But this is also where we're gonna have to pat me on the back as well. Because remember, and it's kind of interesting, and this one we're gonna tug on Funky's wig a little bit too. We got a few sound bites we're gonna have to go through. What's interesting is that, because we're going to get to the part of the conversation where Funky Dineva also gives his unadulterated feelings about the roast, the Al Reynolds roast. But he admits in this soundbite that y'all just heard that him and Wendy Wiggins had several conversations, that he gave them the play-by-play, the precept-by-precept, line by line. He gave Wendy Wiggins the ins and the outs. He gave him the official playbook. Then he gave him the unofficial playbook as well. Remember when I was telling y'all, girl, when y'all was trying to stampede all over Claudia ass and make her the super villain of Gotham, girl, and make her every bit responsible for everything that went wrong with TGIF, girl, everything that went wrong with the show, that she had to, you know, pack his back up. She had to put the battery in Armon's back, and she had to do all of that. Remember when y'all was doing all that? And remember when I was telling y'all, like, move your biases aside and be objective. The nigga came into a burning house. I was the one who kept reminding y'all he had a few relationships that were already connected to the house that was already on fire prior to being hired coming in to the situation. He had already had a working relationship with Funky Dineva, which Funky Dineva just corroborated. He also corroborated that he also played a role in loading Wendy Wiggins up with tea, giving him the unofficial and official playbook. Okay? Wendy Wiggins also had a special relationship that Wendy Wiggins has also already corroborated with the producer, Hello Justin, on the show. And then if you listen to and look at the goings-ons once he got put on, he actually was closer to Al Reynolds coming into the situation than he was to Claudia. Him and Claudia didn't make up until way after he came into the situation. His buddy initially was Al. That also was alluded to in the roast, where he talked about Al being a two-faced ass punk bitch who was going back and forth, being messy and divisive as hell, telling him one thing and then telling the other party another, being divisive, and he didn't learn about what the real tea was until him and Claudia finally sat down. When Claudia sat down with Carlos a month or two ago, she went into more detail and said that Wendy Wiggins and Al Reynolds, Al Jones, were Teletubby buddies, girl. They were scissoring. And that Wendy Wiggins had his ass so far up Al Jones' Tootsie Cat, girl, that she didn't know where Adam's apple began, girl, and where his pussy lips ended, because she couldn't even get Wendy Wiggins to even answer the phone for her once the tension became too much for her. And she wanted to be on her problem solving, you know, stuff. And she was trying to figure out, girl, what's going on? You know, why does it feel this way? Why does it seem like y'all are double teaming me, girl? What is all of this buffoonery about? I don't like the way this is feeling. The chemistry is completely fucking off. And she told Carlos King that Wendy Wiggins would not answer the phone for her. She pretty much had to bulldoze her way into getting him to answer the phone. And then from there, they were able to find out that Al Reynolds was the culprit. Now, Funky Dineva also went on in this Carlos King interview as well to say that he, from his vantage points, he understands that the issue also began with Al drawing the sword first, because Claudia received a screenshot of Al talking mad shit about her to one of her arch nemesis, Nene Leakes. And then from there, shit just continued to hit the fan over 10 and over 10 and over 10 and over 10. So now you got Funky Dineva saying that Al Reynolds was the one being fake as fuck like he's known to be. He did the same thing to Jennifer Williams from Basketball Wives. He was all up in her face, clout chasing off of her ass. She's putting him up on episodes while he was telling all her goddamn business behind her goddamn back all over town. Now he's doing the same thing to Claudia after this woman had put a $250,000 a year salary in his back pocket, girl, when he was nothing more than a substitute teacher and an Uber driver prior to coming into TGIF with them crooked ass glasses and a lopsided ass mouth. Then you got Wendy Wiggins corroborating that Al Reynolds is a messy ass, passive aggressive, divisive ass bitch, which is what led to the roast and came out in the roast. And now you got Al Reynolds' very own friend himself, Funky Dineva, who also is saying, yes, bitch, you know, friend or not, girl, Al got caught up, honey. Now, remember, y'all were the ones, honey. Oh, Claudia, she's a witch and she did it all. And you can't get nobody to fucking corroborate that, girl. Now you got all four players corroborating that Al fucking Reynolds performs a corporate America character for y'all, but in real life is messy, opportunistic, is loyal to no motherfucking body, and who drew blood first. So I think it's safe to say, girl, that y'all definitely owe Claudia Jordan a fucking apology. And you don't have to necessarily like her or love her or think that she's not messy if you believe she has been in other situations. But in this particular situation, girl, 3 times the goddamn charm. And you got his own friends, girl, who is substantiating the claim. Justice for Claudia, honey, and props to Conscious for defending the motherfucking truth as Conscious always does, okay? While y'all be the ones, oh, girl, you're being biased, whatever, bitch. The truth shall prevail, girl. I don't move off my square, bitch. I know what I know, I do what I does, okay? And in time, I have learned that once again, time heals and confirms and legitimizes and substantiates and corroborates all things. So now you done heard it from Wendy Wiggins, you done heard it from Funky Dineva, and you done heard it from Claudia her motherfucking self, okay? So just hashtag justice for Claudia. And while I'm on that, what I also found to be so telling is that Funky Dineva also played his role in being a messy bitch, because I told y'all we're going to tug on his wig too, girl, because the pendulum swings from left to right, honey. We gave him props for being able to stand up and stand in solidarity, girl, and tell Wendy Wiggins what he needs to be told rather than feeding his motherfucking ego, leading to his detriment and his downfall. But I found it interesting that Funky Dineva did his part of trying to lead a narrative about Claudia, but he had the least to say about her ass when it was all said and done, because Funky Dineva was also on his bullshit when it came to Claudia as well. He was bitter about the TGIF situation. He was in his feelings for a plethora of motherfucking reasons, and he used Claudia as an emotional fucking dumpster to ventilate what he was going through with his own ego in the situation with Fox and with TGIF. But however, when he sat down to unpack it all, girl, he didn't have anything negative to say about Claudia. Nothing. He didn't say that she sold him out. She didn't say that she was dividing, you know, and conquering in any of the relationships, girl. He was mighty motherfucking quiet on Claudia. Claudia caught a lot of strays. She caught a lot of strays. She caught a lot of bullets. You know, she for whatever reason became the focal point of everything that transpired around TGIF, and everybody kind of used her in their narrative. And now when it's all said and done, the truth is now coming completely up and out that Al Reynolds was the head messy bitch in charge. And very little had to do with Claudia being an antagonist. Now, there was something else. Oh, I wanted to say this. So, mind you, remember, Claudia didn't have to load Wendy Wiggins' ass up with nothing. He came into a burning house. Funky Dineva then inadvertently, indirectly admitted, girl, that he loaded up Wendy Wiggins at Stendo Clip, girl. He gave him the play-by-play. He told him who the messy bitches was, who don't to trust, who not to talk to, da-da-da-da-da. I thought this would have been common sense. I really couldn't believe that some of y'all were like, did not get it. When I'm just like, you can just look at the situation from an outsider and come to these same mathematical conclusions, girl. Like, how is it that Claudia would have had to tell him anything when he already had relationships to people who were already within the house and had been inside the house, such as Funky, such as his producer friend Justin, and who he came onto the show swinging on the nutsack of, which was Al Reynolds, girl. Like, how do y'all skip past all of that and then just get to Claudia? Like, that's a reach, girl. That's a reach. And then you can literally see them in the first few weeks of him being there, not getting along. And then if you listen to the actual roast, Wendy Wiggins is telling you he's talking from his own experience, because he's admitting in the roast he also had a relationship to this person. That's how he knew that this person was hoodwinking and bamboozling him, because the person he thought he was cool with was giving him all this information, and come to find out it wasn't true once he started talking to the oppositional party and found out that all this shit was bullshit. And yet there were people still saying, oh, Claudia. Like, literally, I was so confused. But it was very obvious to me that a lot of y'all just didn't like Claudia, and y'all wanted her to be more of a villain. Y'all wanted her to be more of a monster in this situation. And I'm also not saying that Claudia is per se perfect, but the level of pressure that y'all had put on her, and y'all just making her the starring villain in this situation, when really all of the tea was already sitting out there in plain sight, girl. All the puzzle pieces were already sitting out there in plain sight, and y'all scooted through all of those Blues Clues and just jumped right onto Claudia's neck, girl. It's wild as fuck. Wild as hell. Okay, so let's get to some other things that he said. Honey, listen to this.
She got a screenshot from Al where he had said something unfavorable about her to Nene Leakes. Okay, and it got back. You know, Claudia saw it, and that at that time had created a big shitstorm, and we got through it. So I thought, And the reason why I say so I thought is because now in present day, a lot of what I'm seeing online is people regurgitating or repeating that Claudia says, Al was talking about her and that's when shit went wrong. You know what I'm saying? And so I thought we had got over that. I'm guessing maybe we never did. I'm guessing. I don't know. That's just, there's been.
Okay, so I just want to play that, girl. Okay, that was Funky Dineva letting y'all know that Al drew blood first. And this is why I was saying, like, if y'all go to my earlier live streams, girl, like, my heart really went out to Claudia. Because I had already knew, like, what was transpiring. And it really just sucked to see her, first of all, put somebody on the show who literally had no redeeming quality. Like, Al, honestly, like, anybody could have been Al on the show. Like, Justin Ross was a more refined, complete version of Al, who could have easily did what Al had did. Because remember when they were doing the auditions and they were rotating, and I was saying, actually, Dustin could replace Al. He's just a better version of Al Reynolds, you know, in terms of the intellectual. He's even keel, and he's historically and factually accurate in his reporting at that, you know. But a fill-in for Dineva, not so much. Like, Dustin is not spicy enough. He's not risky enough to stand in for Funky, but he definitely could have replaced Al as easily. So to put somebody on to a situation to make them relevant, because we all know that Al did not have no relevancy after Star Jones and prior to TGIF. We had no idea what the fuck Al Reynolds was. We had saw him on a few short-lived, half-ass episodes of Basketball Wives, doing one of the earlier seasons, girl. And then that was about that. So this was Al's biggest, like, breakout moment, was Claudia Jordan putting his ass on to a network, putting his ass on to a hit show, allowing him to establish himself outside of Star Jones' shadow, putting $250,000 a year in his motherfucking pocket. And then this is the thanks that I get for putting you bitches on? Is bitch you gonna be talking to Nene fucking Noodlehead Leaks about me, and for what? You in the background hating for what, bitch? You taking pictures of my car and having petty ass conversations with other people for what, bruh? What did I ever do but put a paycheck in your pocket? You know, give you a means to fend for yourself and to be the man that your father clearly didn't raise you to be, bitch, because even here it's taking a woman to give you some leverage, bitch. Just like it took Star Jones' clout to give you leverage. And now it's taking Claudia's clout to give you leverage, girl. And you're selling me out for what? For what? For what? For what? Like Funky said in the interview, girl, why did it have to be so much drama, girl? We had one job and one job only. That's to sit our ass here and to talk shit and to go home, girl. And we were able to do that from home, girl. And we couldn't even understand one assignment, girl, which was to just be home, girls, for an hour, 4 days out of the week. Since Friday sometimes is a pre-recorded episode that we do on Thursdays. We doing the gig from home and can't even be home, girls, for an hour, girl. What is really the tea? Because you had Karen Reynolds, girl, running amok in the kingdom. Now, once again, I ain't saying that Claudia is just Mother Teresa, girl. She's a damn woman. She's in the business. You know, she contributed mildly to shit. Funky Dineva is explicitly messy as hell, you know. He kind of owns it, kind of does it, kind of own it. But in terms of who was Dynamite, girl, and who was just outside being Judas for no reason, girl, who was just being unnecessarily divisive, girl, and deplorable, honey, was Miss Al Jones. Now, let's take another listen to another soundbite. Check this out.
We've got being LGBT in common.
He's explaining his relationship to Al.
Obviously, we've got being LGBT in common. Al's a good time. He liked to drink and he liked to party. Those are things that I like to do. You know what I'm saying? And that really is the level of our relationship. Are me and Al on the phone telling each other our deepest, darkest secrets? No. And as a matter of fact, I didn't even talk to Al about 2 or 3 weeks. I FaceTimed him last night and he was out. He didn't answer the phone. So, you know, we're cool. This thing that me and Al are so damn close at, no, we're not. Like, you know what I'm saying? I would like to be. I mean, our relationship is growing. But Al is just a good time. The same way me and you, bitch, meet me at the bar, bitch, let's go have some drinks and eat. And that is what Al is to me. He's a good time. Yeah, and my time, me and Al, obviously, we got us, you know what I'm saying? And he was always qualities when we were there. Honestly and truthfully, when I was there, Al was the most insecure of the three of us, you know what I'm saying? And he was always like, kind of like worried, you know what I'm saying? Like worried that he wasn't doing good, or worried that people didn't like him, or, you know, he always had to have his notes and stuff. And he always kind of felt, you know, a little inferior to Claudia and I, because he was like, you know, you guys are more experienced than this. You know, I did not experience any diva-like behavior when it came from Al. Like I said, after I left, I don't know what happened.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Another mouth-dropping moment in, you know, the interview. What's going on, Flame? Hey, boo. What's going on, love? Okay. Here it is. Funky Dineva is saying, girl, he admits that Al was an insecure biddy who felt inferior toward Claudia. So when Claudia was in her interview with Carlos and was like, girl, yeah, I found out all this shit was going on behind my back. Al was sending, you know, like he was talking shit, you know, taking pictures of my property, of my car, and people was, you know, coming off as jealous and envious. And then Al is in Claudia's face pretending to like her, love her, but selling her out behind her back to Nene, somebody that he knows that she don't get along with, that she got tension with. And then you turn around and remember, Al played a role into gaslighting Funky Dineva, because remember when Funky Dineva had exited, and then the first 2 weeks he was with all the shits, and he had let it be known when he was like calling Claudia all type of bitches and hoes, and I'll expose you, bitch. And he admitted that it was because Al Reynolds who was supposed to be Claudia's friend and was her friend first. She the one who introduced all them, put them together. When Al was screenshotting his text thread with Claudia and sent the text thread to Funky. And that's what made Funky put his neck on Claudia, because the way that Funky left, which was he didn't give nobody a heads up, including the bitch that had put him on to the network, the bitch that had also put $250K in his motherfucking pocket, gave him something else to do outside of his own YouTube channel, gave him somewhere else to be outside of his own Miami condo. And because he didn't even as much as afford her a goodbye, a hey, I'm about to leave, or, you know, just didn't even give her, knowing that this was her baby, TGIF was her idea. TGIF was completely birthed and originated out of Claudia Jordan's brain. And you didn't even have the decency to let me know what your issues were, or at the very least, if you didn't want to put me in whatever your situation was with the pay or the salary, whatever the fuck it was, girl, you couldn't just let me know that you were leaving. And just out of respect for me and what I've done for you in return, you know, be halfway informative to me, girl, so that we can at least plan a proper rollout and we can transition properly, just out of simple respect. Even if me and you ain't even the closest at this point in the game. But still, yet, I'm still the same bitch, whether we're as tight as we used to be or not, that put 250K in your motherfucking back, and that put you on, and that put you in this position, and just out of the fact that, girl, there ain't no real substantive smoke between us, you couldn't even just tell me bye. You couldn't just say, hey, girl, I'm gonna give y'all a week. I'm gone. I'm letting you know I'm out. You know, I'll probably stick around for the next few days. Y'all can start finding y'all replacements instead of just putting everybody into a tailspin. But remember, Funky Dineva had admitted, because Claudia, when Al told her, hey, the producers want us to do a farewell to Funky, to do a farewell show, etc., she was like, girl, well, why we got to do that when he didn't give us a proper goodbye? You know, that's all she said. Al messy Karen ass Snapchatted, screenshotted that text thread and sent it to fucking Funky Dineva, which is a breach of Claudia's trust and the confidentiality and privacy she should have been afforded to have in her friendship with Al. And then he took and used that to gaslight Funky Dineva because he knows that Funky is emotional as well, just like Wendy Wiggins. That he got a big ass ego, just like Wendy Wiggins. And that he'll be quick to be on a bitch ass because he's in his feelings, just like Wendy Wiggins. And then kaboom. So take it back. Remember when Claudia was in her Carlos King interview and she was like, yeah, I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't know what's going on. Me and Al used to be really close. And then all of a sudden, the nigga just started getting weird. He just started zigzagging. He just started getting weird. And I don't understand it. Well, Funky Dineva just gave his diagnosis. He knew from whenever it started that Al was insecure as fuck, and Al did have a particular inferiority complex as it relates to Claudia because he felt the most unachieved amongst them all. He felt not necessarily qualified to be in a position. He was suffering from imposter syndrome. Now, obviously, this is something that Claudia wouldn't have known, having been somebody that did not work extensively with Al prior, you know, to putting him on. You know, it's something that unfortunately she didn't learn until she got into a situation with her and he sold her out for silver and gold. And it wasn't even real gold, girl. Sold her out for silver and Cuban zirconium material, girl. It wasn't even vibranium. It wasn't even antimonium, girl. Okay, now this is his friend saying this. His friend, girl. This is Funky Dineva. This ain't Al's enemy. This ain't Al's op. This is his homeboy. This is homegirl, girl. Wendy Wiggins Flame says, thank God you blew it. Thank God I dodged the That's another thing. Can we give me and Sherelle some props? Because, you know, me and Sherelle told y'all that the offer had went to like several other people before it ever even got to Wendy Wiggins, girl. I turned it down once I had got all the inside scoop, girl. I was like, yeah, I'm good because, see, I know my professionalism ain't set up the same now that I've been out of the corporate space, girl, for over a decade my damn self. And I don't do things exclusively for money. I do things that, first of all, are going to be beneficial to my mental health, things that I genuinely want to do. And then the pay is like, you know, how I close out the deal. But I'm so used now to working in my own space and working for my own persons and not having to put up with other people's shit that I have less of a tolerance now than I ever have because I don't have to deal with people anymore. I don't have to navigate other people's fuckery and their bullshit and their personality and their ways and their shortcomings and all of that. And now I've been conditioned as a result of being an entrepreneur, you know, to not have to navigate there's no way I could have lasted even as long as Wendy Wiggins lasted, girl, because you got to really want that fake industry life, girl, to really put up with all of those shenanigans. You have to really, 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 girl, you know, want some type of perceivable notoriety, or, you know, you have to be that desperate to want to prove yourself to your foes and to your opponents, or to prove something to your family, girl, to put up with all of that, girl. It ain't that deep for a bitch like me, okay? I'm self-made, bitch. All I care about at the end of the day is being able to have a peace of mind and get my motherfucking coin. And if I can cut all the middle out, then I will. Okay, I don't care nothing about proving nothing to nobody. I ain't got no ops I'm trying to prove shit to. I ain't got no family I'm trying to prove shit to. I ain't got no audience I'm trying to prove shit to, bitch. My only two priorities is a peace of mind and my motherfucking coin, bitch. The rest of that shit, you can take it to the cross. Okay? I ain't willing. Once the dime got dropped on me, girl, what was really going on with TGIF, I was like, okay, yeah, this would be cute. I would love this. This would be cute for my little, like, you know, commentator journey, etc., girl. Like, at surface glance, this would be nice, but I know this is going to be unsustainable because this is too fucking messy and it's too fucking dense. And the reality is that TGIF was on its way to closing shop. Because this is a big reason why Funky ran his ass out when he ran his ass out, because TGIF girl was on her way out of the door. And Miss Funky was trying to collect all the coins she could, girl, for her time, her pain, her work, her audience, girl. Because if this is the end, baby, okay, if this is where we all go down, girl, in the glory, honey, then we might as well go out in the blaze of glory. And I want all of the compensation. I want all of the compensation. I want all of the reparations, girl. Okay, I want all of the seasonal bonuses, bitch. Okay, give me all the things. And because Fox wasn't willing to put no more budget into TGIF, because TGIF was already not bringing in more than what it was taking to make it work, Fox was like, no, bitch, like, hit show or not, it only looks like a hit show comparatively speaking, but it's not a hit show in terms of we're not recouping on what we're investing in the show to make it work. What's coming back is not suffice. It's not sufficient. So why would we then pour more into people's salaries? Why would we give them more coin when the show, regardless of how well fans think that it's doing, but once again, fans thinking that it's doing well because of what? Like, y'all's metric was very different from Fox's metric. And Fox wasn't recouping on what they were investing. They were putting more into running the show than they were what they were making from the show. For one. We're going to get a little bit more into that too, okay? But we just on Al's ass for right now. So according to Funky, Al's ass was inferior as hell and suffered from an inferiority complex toward Claudia. So everybody who was around here like, oh, Claudia just playing the victim, acting so dumb, so stupid. No, she really didn't know what the fuck was going on. She really didn't know what had happened to her friendship. She really didn't know why the fuck this nigga just switched up on her. Like, for what, for who, where, girl, why? Why? Well, Funky Dineva just added more context to the why. Okay, let's listen to this soundbite.
We've got being LGBT in common.
Okay, hold on. We already did that. Let's go to this one.
The reason why I decided to walk and not stick it out with my soul is because nobody was giving us a clear direction on what we're doing. Are y'all taking this show to TV? We've been here now for 4 years. What are we doing? You know what I'm saying? Is the network growing? Is it? And every time we would ask questions, people would just talk in circles. And so another layer to me walking away is, I don't need you to sit on YouTube. Okay, if anything, I'm trying to elevate beyond YouTube. Mm-hmm. I don't need you for YouTube, and I'm not being cocky. I'm not being arrogant. I'm not trying to be any of those things. But the lion's share of the people watching are my audience.
Okay, so there it is. Funky goes into the other part of it, girl. Was that, you know, TGI Fox Soul was created to pander to the black and to pander to people of color, to black and brown folk, girl. Okay, they were trying to strengthen their black base, etc., girl. So they created some black ass Hennessy, gin and juice ass shows, girl. Some real hip ass, you know, for the culture, by the culture, of the culture ass shows, Cocktails with Divas, TGIF, etc., girl. Okay, so it was always going to be short-lived, especially if those shows were not going to really be producing any real money. And Funky went further into talking about how, you know, Cocktails with Divas, obviously, you know, it required a bigger budget because those were bigger stars. Okay, they had a bigger industry profile than Funky and Al. So, you know, they were really pouring a huge budget into the cocktail show, etc. But once again, just like TGIF, Cocktails was not bringing in what was being put into the show. So eventually they had to scrap it. It's like they had to scrap TGIF. But both shows were created to pander to the black community. That's why Funky is like, girl, we had no direction when we were inquiring about, okay, like what we're doing, where's this going? You know, what there were no answers for them. It got real blurry. It got real quiet. You know, nobody quite knew, you know, when they were talk to higher ups about what the vision was for TGIF. There was none because nobody obviously in higher ups could say the truth, which was that, girl, there really was no vision. This was an open and shut manifestation and creative endeavor that was designed to simply pander and to attract, you know, a black base, a particularly youthful black base. And yeah, you know, we don't have a 5-year out plan, girl. We didn't think that far out because this was just like surface level baiting to the black community. Okay, so there's that. Now let's listen to another soundbite.
Not gonna lie, I started doing my show at 8 o'clock at the same time as theirs to be messy, bitch. I'm not gonna see it. I can appreciate that.
Okay, so here it is. Funky literally stated, girl, that he went on to be messy. Now, this one I want to tug on the brittle synthetic bundles of the Funky Bunch. Because remember when you host was over here talking shit to me, bitch, trying to make it seem like, oh, I was a hater and, you know, he's just going on at the same time because he's already used to being up, girl. He's already used to being up at 8 o'clock, girl. He's already used to being at the podium, honey. He's already used to being on camera. He's already used to being on Zoom. He's already used to, girl, hitting the live feature at 8, girl. You're just. And then out of the horse's mouth itself, girl, the bitch finally admits, I was with all the shits. I was pissed, pressed, and dizzy as hell. I was trying to tank the show. Yes, it was. I wanted to prove a motherfucking point to them hoes that you don't fuck with me, bitch. Remember all of that? like out of the horse's mouth. And this is the problem with standing, is that when you're standing, girl, it's like you have on foggy ass underwater goggles. You know, you can't really see straight even when the truth is in blazing plain sight of yourself, girl. Okay, it should have been obvious that Funky Dineva was with the shits. And here's the thing, because this is why I gotta also tug on Funky's wig. Funky said in this interview that he actually wanted to see the show make it. He wanted to see the show be successful. And this was after he left, girl. He wanted to see TGIF make it, but he's being completely disingenuous. Because if that was the case, girl, you would not have portrayed Claudia the way that you did by not telling her shit, leaving how you left, knowing you were just leaving in the middle of the season, girl. Okay, throwing the show into a loop, not being considerate, if to nobody else, to Claudia. You would not have chosen to go on at the same time while you openly admit in this interview that you knew most of the viewership, most of the viewer retention came from your people, the Funky Bunch, made up a huge chunk of the TGIF audience. Then when you left, you dragged the hell out of Claudia. You also dragged the shit and put a narrative on Fox Soul and compared yourself to Monique and to Taraji P. Henson as it relates to someone who was being blackballed. But that's after you had already admitted, girl, that who in the fuck would be stupid enough to give up $250K. So you also backhanded your own narrative about Fox, because on one hand, you're trying to communicate to us that you were hoodwinked and bamboozled, you were lowballed, you were taken advantage of, but then in the same breath, because you pussy popping, you also remind us of how crazy it would be for anybody to give up $250. So here it is, you're recognizing, girl, that you were making a substantial amount of money for your time, for your click and the view, and went on to brag, girl, about just how easy it was, girl, that it was an easy $250, girl. Like, who the fuck would be crazy, stupid, goofy enough to give up $250 and all you gotta do is sit at a chair for 1 hour out of the day and all that, girl? And then you drag these people for their fucking equipment, caught them cheap, acted like it was somehow outside of corporate protocol for these people to ask for their uniform back, their name tags, their microphones, and all of the network generated equipment that they provided you with, you know, upon being hired, girl. You know, you just went out of your way to make them look as horrible as you could, and then still want to try to cling to this virtuous narrative that you wanted to see the show make it. You absolutely did not want to see the show make it. And that's okay, because here's the thing for me. I just don't know why people gotta lie. Like, if you were being petty and you really did not want to see the show make it, and Funky would go on by the time they wrap up the TGIF segment to basically to further corroborate that he had no positive energy for the show, because when Wendy Wiggins, in his own words, tainted by that roast, Funky admitted he felt vindicated. And this is the thing, I just be like, girl, why these hoes be talking out of both sides of their necks? Like, can nobody talk can nobody, is there nobody alive anymore who can have a non-contradicting truth? It's like shit sounds like straight across the board when you listening to it at first glance. But when you actually listen, bitch, you're like, hold up, bitch, what? Like, you just said this, and then you just said that, and then you just tied it up like that, and then you just flew out the window, girl, then you just parachuted back down the chimney, girl, then you just got on Rudolph the reindeer, girl, and then you just realized, oh, bitch, what? Like, what am I actually listening to? This actually doesn't make any fucking sense. But the reason why a lot of people don't be catching it a lot of times because people just be caught up in the tea that's being dropped, and they get so polarized by that they don't inspect the whole sentence. They don't inspect the whole narrative and review it over. But then once you do, you realize all this line and pussy popping and backpedaling is going on, and it's a mess. Nah. Oh, I want to go back to what I was going to say earlier too. Funky goes on this interview to say how, you know, T.S. Madison was offered the job first. Once again, I was telling y'all from the jump, girl, The show had been offered to several people before it ever got down to Wendy Wiggins. Wendy Wiggins was the only person stupid enough to, you know, not read the room, girl, to not take all that intel that Funky Dineva admitted that he loaded Wendy Wiggins up with, girl, and choose his piece because he was so desperate to prove something, girl, to his so-called ops and his so-called haters, girl, that he put himself in a situation that ultimately embarrassed him. Because now he has to live with the scarlet letter of being the low vibrational content creator who a larger network tried to give an opportunity to, who came in with the ghetto shit and tanked it. And I'll say it again, like I've said it before. I would never feel sorry for Wendy Wiggins in this situation because had he been mature, because this is what Funky Dineva was talking about, girl. There's an immaturity issue. There's a lack of emotional intelligence issue here. Had he been mature, any bitch who was really focused on their career, focused on their goddamn coin, any bitch who was really focused on something of substance as it related to this opportunity would have actually decided not to answer their phone for no motherfucking body once they would have realized that everybody in the situation, or at least the person he was talking to, was trying to be messy as hell. That is another option that Wendy Wiggins had, was to not answer the phone for Al Reynolds, because had he not done that, none of this would have never happened to begin with. Had he told Al Jones, Karen Reynolds, the first time that Karen came to his ass and tried to fill his ear up about Claudia or whoever, girl, is, hey, ma'am, I ain't come here for all that. I don't give a damn about the backstory, the origin story. It ain't got nothing to do with me. I'm just here to make my coin and to piss my ops off. That's it. That's all, honey. You know, I hope that you can take your $250,000, girl, and you and Claudia can go down to the couples counseling and get y'all some much needed healing, honey. I'm gonna be sending y'all healing energy and supportive energy, honey, and that's it. But because he's a messy bitch and he's attracted to messy shit as a result of being a messy bitch, he allowed himself to be vacuumed into the messy shit. He allowed himself initially to be used by Al Reynolds to help him double team and sabotage Claudia Jordan. And if it wasn't for Claudia being persistent in trying to figure out what the fuck all the heat and the smoke was, finally getting a phone call with Wendy Wiggins, then there would have never been no breakthrough, because Wendy Wiggins would have allowed himself to be a mean girl alongside Al Reynolds. And that's really wild that you would come on to a bitch show who created the damn show, who's the host of the show, and think that you can mistreat her and join another second-ranked bitch on the cast and try to overthrow the motherfucking throne. Like, how dense and how raggedy do you have to be when you could have came in completely neutral, completely biased, and not putting up with any of the pre-existing drama that you had walked into? And you are 34 years of age, girl. We're not talking about, once again, a 17-year-old girl, a fresh-faced 22-year-old. We're talking about a grown-ass, big veneer-ass, big denture-wearing ass, almost 40-year-old ass nigga. And you still with the high school bullshit. That was the option he had. Didn't have to be used by nobody. That's why when Claudia was in her interview with Carlos King, like, oh, do you really think that Wendy Wiggins can be controlled? Yeah, because he was. And that's really according to what you said in your interview too, because you said that the bitch wouldn't even answer the phone for you. He was giving you the cold shoulder like you had did something to his ass, as if he wasn't sitting in your house, under your motherfucking roof, under your motherfucking creation. He decided to help another motherfucking nigga that he didn't know to be against a motherfucking woman he didn't goddamn know. Because that's how desperate he was for somebody to be a friend and to be friendly with him, girl. That he did whatever he had to do, girl, to appease the Bloods and the Crips. because that's how desperate he was to fucking belong. And then after realizing the truth, girl, and taking no responsibility, right, for his actions. That's why I wasn't here for, you know, I can understand because Claudia was genuinely confused through this whole thing. She never got no clear answers. Al continued to be fake with her when she would confront him and try to figure out, like, girl, like, okay, I'm hearing this, that, and the third. He would deny it, girl, playing that fake ass role. Playing that fake ass role. But Wendy had the opportunity because he really didn't have anything to do with any of that. To sit on his hands and to sit fucking still. So her blaming Al is one thing, but when Wendy Wiggins blames Al, I'm confused. You can't blame Al for a situation you chose to willfully be a mean girl in. You knew you didn't have no smoke with that fucking woman coming into TGIF. You didn't know Al enough. And you didn't have a relationship to the drama prior to coming in enough to be invested in being on anybody's side. You got to take responsibility in being a dumbass hoe. You got to take responsibility in your pick-Misha complex that you allowed the lowest and the least of the denominators, because even Funky Dineva basically is calling Al as the least of the common denominators, girl. He was the most insecure. How you allowed, according to Funky Dineva, the most insecure, the most inferior, the most broken ass person on the damn show, the most incompetent motherfucker on the show who needed notes and needed a teleprompter and needed all of this, girl, to play you like a goddamn fool, and you the bitch out here claiming to be the baddest bitch on the block. Make it make sense, bitch. I dare not. I dare not. Did Al Jones play you or did he not? Okay? Girl, Funky Dineva really snatched your motherfucking rat tail, girl. Okay, let's see what type of prosthetics you come on with tonight, girl. Are you gonna paint yourself darker than what you are, girl, and put on a prosthetic bald head, girl, just to imitate him, girl? Let's see what type of goddamn sideshow circus Olay ass side effects, girl, that you're going to be giving, girl, tonight, honey, when you call yourself, you know, coming at Miss Funky Dineva, girl. Okay, who read you down, Miss Mamas? Okay, who gave you that motherfucking everlasting work, Miss Mamas? Okay? Girl, are you going to be in blackface tonight? What is it really going to give? Okay? Because, girl, Funky Dineva snatched you clean into light-skinnedness, girl. Just snatched all your melanin out of your body, girl, when he inadvertently admitted, girl, that you allow the most weakest, most insecure, frail-ass, dementia-having-ass motherfucker out of everybody, bitch, to play you like a big-ass fucking dummy hoe. And that's why you were really mad. That's why you really had all that smoke for that girl and that roast, girl, because it was the sheer humiliation of it all. But you knew better because there was literally no reason for you to be Team Al from the beginning. You didn't know her any more than you knew Claudia. You could have came in, got your check, not answered your phone except for by the person who was cutting the check, and you could have had your job, and TGIF could have been barely afloat today, still out live and in color at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But no, bitch. You had to go, honey, getting puppeteered, girl, by the most incompetent of the puppet masters. Now, let's read what, or listen to what Funky had to say, Greg, about Miss Wendy Wiggins' roast of Al Reynolds. Check this shit out.
Al, what was your first thought? A battery was put in his back. A battery was put in his back. These are my thoughts. Can't prove it. Don't know for a fact. I thought a battery was put in his back. I thought it was deeply personal. I thought it was extremely unprofessional. I thought it was completely I thought it was gross. I thought it was gross. And the reason why I thought it was gross is because obviously having had work there, a lot of the things that he was saying, he had not even been there long enough to experience or even know what the fuck he was talking about. Okay? And it's just the things that were coming out of his mouth had trappings of somebody gave him this information. He simply had not been there long enough. And going back to our earlier conversation when I was talking about them.
Now let's pause it right here. Well, now, girl, but once again, we're gonna have to snatch Funky Dineva ass ball, girl, because I don't know why this girl sitting up in this interview with this cognitive dissonance, girl, and this disassociation, girl. How in the fuck are you, girl? My brain cells just, girl, they be unalived at expeditious rates, girl. Girl, did you not forget that you just admitted to Carlos King, girl, that you had several conversations with this girl, gave her the official play, the unofficial play, told her who the fuck was who was doing what, who the fuck to stay away from, who to not fucking talk to, and then going to sit here in the same breath and talk about, girl, you believe that the roast could have been premeditated and that somebody else could have put a battery in his back, but you don't know who, you ain't got no proof. Bitch, you the proof. The fuck? All that shit you told his ass is what he came into the situation with, along with all the pillow talk he was having with the producer Justin on the motherfucking show, on top of all of the pillow talk that Al Jones was running to him with. Like, what do you mean? How are you confused, girl? Like, I don't... It's like Funky Dineva has the potential to be like one of the realest hoes outside of myself. But he never, like, just when I think he's going to like hit the 100 meter mark, girl, he just fails me at that 80%, girl. Like, just when I think, okay, girl, Funky said, girl, he's standing on that shit, he talking that shit, then he just loses his momentum and resorts back to the delusion and the fuckery of it all. Bitch, you just admitted that if you don't know anybody else, that you yourself loaded the nigga up from front to back and literally said, I did it for him because I would have want somebody to do it for me if they were coming into a new job. And then I'm going to sit here and act completely clueless as to where this girl got where he would have got all this shit from, where he would have got that from. And here's the gag, Funky. If this supposed to be your fucking homeboy, Al Reynolds, that is, and you set your ass up on Carlos King and was willing to call your homeboy insecure in front of 400, 300,000 people, however many motherfucking subscribers Carlos King got, willing to call his ass inferior, girl, willing to talk about, girl, how he got self-esteem issues, girl, and this is what you're willing to say in the light, bitch. I can only imagine what your ass said about Al Reynolds to Wendy Wiggins, bitch. If this was you keeping it casual and keeping it cute, girl, about your friend in front of a whole viewing audience, girl, I can only imagine what your behind the scenes conversation sounds like. So when you sitting up there talking about, girl, oh, it felt like it could have been a battery in his back, and I don't know. I ain't got no proof. Girl, you're the proof. If nobody else, you're the proof, girl. Because Wendy Wiggins already cleared Claudia and said she ain't had a goddamn thing to do with the roast. Claudia already done cleared Claudia and said she ain't had nothing to do with the goddamn roast. Wendy Wiggins already said, girl, he's talking about his own motherfucking experience. But he did have a fucking relationship to Justin, and he did have a pre-existing relationship to Funky Dineva. So what the fuck do you mean, girl? How did he get all this tea? And then what was all the tea, girl? It ain't like he really said anything that was that outside of what he could have surmised just from observing. He said the bitch mispronunciates words. That's something anybody with ears can see and hear. He said he was a fake ass bitch, something that Wendy Wiggins would have known because he now has had a clarifying conversation with Claudia Jordan. So that was his own experience and observation. He said that Al had a very special relationship to management. That's something that he would have been able to see just based upon, once again, seeing what all the shit was going on in the background. And it could have also been something that he could have extracted from whatever his pillow talk with Al was. So really, what was all this information that it just would have been? Oh, he couldn't have known. What? Bitch, he ain't said nothing in that roast that he could not have known from just being in the seat. I'm confused, bitch. I'm confused. I don't understand. I don't understand. But let's continue to listen.
Maturity piece, that's the thing right there. Like I laid out for Armon everything he needed to do to be successful at that show, and in my opinion, he went there and did the complete opposite. And I'm very disappointed in him for it. I am, because I rooted for you. I rooted for you when there were actually people working against you being there. And I informed him that there are people who don't want you there. There are people who are going out of their way to not have you here. Told him who the people were and everything. And then I told him everything he needed to do to be successful there. And you went up there and drank the Kool-Aid and got lost in the sauce and did the complete opposite. And if I'm being honest, was a major contributing factor as far as I can see as to why the shit got canceled.
Wow.
I don't think it's his fault. I don't think it's his fault. I think that he was a major contributing factor. That roast was just, in what world do you go to your job and do that? A mature person who was looking at the future of the collective, the show, and the energy of three people who have to get along, a mature person would have never done that. They simply would not have done that. You can't tear up the chemistry. There was no bouncing back from what was said to Al in that roast. And not that you're speaking for Al. We all heard when he called you baby. Mm-hmm. And the reason why, again, guys, you guys have proof he's not messy. A messy bitch would have made sure that I got the...
Shut the hell up, Carlos damn King. Funky Dineva was absolutely being goddamn messy, bitch. Okay? Like, once Funky Dineva heard what Al Reynolds was trying to say, and amid him being upset, girl, and him having this man on speakerphone, girl, he continued to have that damn man on speakerphone, and at the very least, just told him, girl, I'm live, instead of just taking his friend off speakerphone. That would have been the obvious, friendly, logical thing to do, girl. Any bitch who would have been concerned about their friend spilling too much goddamn tea. It's just to take his ass off speakerphone. But Funky just basically admitted to regretting co-signing for Wendy Wiggins because he had gave his ass the secrets to eating, and this whole went and did all this upside down ass shit anyway, girl. He went and embarrassed the goddamn kingdom, girl. He went and shamed, girl, himself and his advisors and his references, girl. And he is shooketh, girl, and has his mouth on the fucking floor because of how this man willfully played the fuck out of himself by getting caught up in the fucking vortex of the bullshit. Funky Dineva is literally saying what I just said. Wendy Wiggins had no fucking excuse. Funky had given him where all the roadblocks were, where all the potholes were, what the fuck to stay away from, girl, what to dot. And this bitch went and hit every era and then some, girl. Funky Dineva don't even know how this bitch fucked it up with herself, girl. Like, how you ran into all the walls, how you hit all the potholes, how you ran all the stoplights, girl. How did you do this to yourself? How did you do this to yourself? But let me tell you what the other gag is about Funky. Gotta pull that wig, girl. It's funny that Funky is the one to tug on Wendy Wiggins' wig when Funky himself also did not exemplify any of the advice that he gave to Wendy. He played his role throughout his time on TGIF, also sabotaging the chemistry of the show, such as that time where he called Claudia a transphobe and a homophobe to her fucking face. And remember how contentious that shit got? Remember all of the interesting moments, girl, when Funky Dineva threw Claudia ass up under a big ass magic school bus, girl, and it made things so terribly awkward and so terribly weird, and things were kind of so unsolicited. Funky, do you not recall the fact that you did not handle yourself professionally at all either upon exiting TGIF, girl? You did not speak to Claudia. You did not have a formal goodbye. You roasted the goddamn show to the goddamn ground. You the reason why Wendy Wiggins was even there to begin with, bitch. So it's just an unmitigated gall for me. Now, I can give you props, girl. You standing on business or whatever the case may be, girl. But at the same time, like, this is a hot, hypocritical mess as well, because Funky is just as known, girl, for blowing relationships, sabotaging fucking situations, girl. I mean, it's kind of the tea calling the kettle black. It's the tea calling the kettle black. So, all in all, I was trying to put it together for y'all, girl. And guess what? I'm waiting for the other shit to come out, because it's still shit that's not being said. It's still shit. I'm waiting to see if the other things are going to come up and out, girl, because we keep getting these like just slow incremental reveal from everybody, girl, who just keep giving these damn Easter eggs. And this still ain't everything, but it's just one more piece of another piece. He did have a part to play. I don't give a fuck whether he was a show or not. Him being the show or not don't give him a reason to be any more unprofessional than anybody else. If he was so much of the goddamn show, he shouldn't have never did the goddamn show, because he was that much of a show. It was the reason why he took the show and he did $250,000 a motherfucking year, and his ass was there for all the fucking 4 years because he needed that coin just like everybody else did. Him being the show don't mean that he gets to act without coop. It doesn't mean that he gets to act without decorum. It doesn't mean that he gets to behave any worse than anybody else. And if you're going to be tugging on the wig of another girl and telling them how they should have been behaving and how they should have cartwheeled and how they should have pussy popped, you know, you might want to also make sure that your own pussy popping is cohesive so that you can be a credible teacher and a credible messenger. Because when you with the shits yourself, baby, you know, you blow all of the steam out of your feedback, especially to an egotistical, big-headed, big-tooth bitch like Wendy Wiggins, who already don't got the capacity to take any type of criticism anyway. So the fact that Funky Dineva acts like a clown, a part of a circus, his damn self, it's very easy for Wendy Wiggins to justify ignoring this feedback as well. And is. So what we learned from this interview as it relates to TGIF, girl, is that he is ashamed and embarrassed by Wendy Wiggins, girl. He will probably never put his neck out on the line and co-sign that bitch again, because she can't be trusted. She's going to embarrass herself. She needs to grow the fuck up. And he believes that it was just that his behavior was preposterous, because this could have been prevented on Wendy Wiggins' end. He didn't have to go in this way, and it didn't have to conclude this way. Because as Funky said, girl, on what job do you think this is going to be beneficial to the chemistry of the show, of the panel? In what world? In what world, baby? Okay. What we also learned is that he pretty much and practically vindicated Claudia. He told the truth about Al ass being insecure as hell, being inferior as hell, and was inferior particularly toward Claudia ass. That Al drew first blood. You guys now done heard that from all the panelists who have corroborated that. So justice for Claudia. And what you learned is that Funky is still a hot ass mess. Now I want to drop the link. For anybody who want to come and sound off, girl, what are y'all perspectives and opinions about the situation at hand, honey? And don't come up here with these long ass talking points, honey. Get to the point. We ain't gonna be here all day. Okay. Okay. Especially if you see multiple people up here, girl. Don't be coming up here, honey, with these damn Dr. Luther King speeches. Shy. Okay. Condense your talking points so we can have a timely and effective ass, dialogue. I just dropped the link. Moderators, can y'all rotate the link, honey? Y'all can hit the StreamYard link, girl. Who y'all feel is at fault? Is at fault for the implosion of it all, girl? What do y'all think about Funky Dineva's contribution, girl, to the autopsy report of TGIF? Did his opinion and his truth change the way y'all thought about the situation, honey? Okay, what is tea? Okay, if you have anything to say, hit the link, or else we can haul ass, honey, because we got things to do. Her story says, I feel like they collectively planned a takeover to out Claudia, and unfortunately it worked. All that stress, all that drama, all that bullshit eventually eroded TGIF. TGIF was already a show that was brought to the network by Claudia. Fox used it to pander to the Black community. They did not have any future for TGIF because Claudia did not own TGIF. She forgot to copyright and patent that shit up. She had no creative control over TGIF. It was simply just her baby. And yeah, all of this bickering, all of these weirdos galvanizing around her, being weird, being unprofessional, Funky Dineva leaving how he left, not saying shit to her, just quitting in the middle of everything, girl, while claiming that he wanted to see the show make it, and then making every effort afterwards to tank the damn show, to Al Reynolds being a fake ass bitch, talking to Nene and dragging Claudia behind her back, trying to sabotage her and sending her text messages to Funky Dineva, girl. It was just a mess. And then a fake ass horse face bitch coming into the situation, girl, trying to opt up with Al Reynolds ass, girl, against Claudia, honey. It worked. And I really, Claudia not about that life, but I really just hope that, girl, it's just like, girl, the next time she go to talk about this situation, bitch, you need to rip. Okay, you need to stomp the yard with these hoes. You need to let have, honey. Okay, now that you done been properly vindicated, thanks to me, girl, because I was the only bitch out here who had your back when all these hoes was out here, all these other influencers, girl, was out here, girl, dragging the shit out of your ass. Okay, making you Penguin of Gotham, girl, making you Harley Quinn of Gotham, girl. Okay, now that you done been corroborated, now you done been substantiated, honey, it's time for you to drag from the cradle to the grave, bitch. Okay? Drag Al ass, drag Wendy Wiggins ass, girl. It's time for you to talk your shit, because all these folk played a role in your shit going down the tube and the toilet. And even though Wendy Wiggins wasn't initially a part of the original cast, he was still able to make a decent salary because of what you had created. Hold these niggas accountable. Don't try to cover up Wendy Wiggins' behavior by dog piling on to Al, because Wendy Wiggins had no reason to treat you like that. He had no reason to come into the situation the way that he did. Okay, and now you just heard it from Funky Girl that he loaded up Wendy Wiggins about your ass, told him who the fuck not to fuck with, who to not talk to, who to not do, and then he joined ranks with Al Reynolds. That's what he chose to do as a man. And he's a 34-year-old one at that. So hold his ass accountable like a grown-ass motherfucking nigga and drag everybody equally in the situation. I want to welcome Breezy to the platform. Hey, Breezy.
Hey, so how you doing? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, love.
Okay, so really what I just called to do is just to give you a formal apology because I am a huge, I don't have to, I was a huge Horse Wiggins fan. And I honestly thought, you were coming as opposed to coming from, a woke place, coming from, a hater space. And it really was just you just knew all parties and knew what you were dealing with, and you just called it as soon as it happened. So, I mean, it's not like I'm trying to toot your own horn, but you really did
big of you, Breezy.
Say that
that's
again.
so big of you.
Yeah,
wow.
yeah, because I used to be in the comments you're a hater. And because like I said, I don't have a problem saying it. I mean, everybody's up and down when you follow somebody. I'm not a super fan when it can be not wrong, but I was just oh no, this is big for trans women. This is gonna be big. And then I just thought everybody who was against him was boom, boom, boom. But when I saw what happened, because I actually started watching Fox Soul because of him, I'm not even gonna lie. And I didn't 100% think he was ready, but I thought God put him in a position for that. But then I was ooh, and So I really want to just give you your props. You know what I mean? For just being just consistent.
Thank
you. Just straightforward, So yeah, but as far as I did watch the Funky. I didn't want to make this long, but I did watch the Funky Dineva thing, and what kind of made me light up was how do we not know that the roast was Funky Dineva influenced too? Because you said that you gave him the blueprint, so it was the blueprint plus the conversation, probably just a conversation with Claudia that gave trans women just a aha moment and was I'm gonna go all in. You know what I mean? And of course he's immature. There's no way I would have fumbled that bag. I wouldn't have, just like you said, I wouldn't have talked to anybody for a full year.
That part. Talk about
nobody. I would have been on probation. It would have been you don't know me. I don't know y'all. I'm a party with my friends, all your friends that you talk about, everybody, you know what I'm saying? I just would have been the man of my friends and not talk to this person, that person. But he was too mixy, he was too immature, and he quickly lost. He got played. And it is what it is. It is what it is. So that's it.
Okay, so my question to you is, I mean, since this your guy, that's well, first of all, do you think he's gonna clap back at Funky? Do you think he's going to, do you think he's gonna go head on with Funky? And do you think that he has learned anything from the experience?
So I think he's learned. Let's start with the learn. I do think he learned something. Do I think he's going to clap back? If he claps back, he's going to discuss. Okay, like I said, I was saying in the comment section that the way he does his YouTube now is positivity. So if he does it, it's going to be in the disguise of a positive video, people are hating on him and he's being tested and tried and things like that. Because that's the wave that he's on now. Yeah. I don't know if he's going to give the old, his old ways, because he's really, I think because of this situation, he's trying to really officially elevate it because he's learned. So the way that he does things is he may commentate on, the rap girlies from time to time, but most of the videos are positive or hitting positive videos, don't let this person bring you down and don't let that person bring you down and blah, 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 blah. Now, if he wants to get real messy, he'll probably be on that Spaces. He probably will get messy and be clap back on that, but he ain't gonna do it on YouTube. I don't think he's gonna do it on YouTube.
Okay.
That's not my bestie. I'm just that's what I see, what he's going on, what he's trying to do. Yeah. So yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for that, Brazy.
No, thank you. And I'm going to continue to watch because you got something good going on here.
Thank you, baby.
All right.
That was busy. Yeah, that was so huge. Okay, we got a nurse Moonshine in the background, but that's really dope. You know, you don't get a lot of apologies on social media. You do not get a lot of apologies at all, girl. You know, and once again, I know it probably is hard to believe, girl, that my feedback be coming just from a matter of a fact place, but I want people to remember I have had personal experiences with this person, for one, so that does inform my stance. You know, this person jumped out of the window on me at a time where he and I was supposed to be cultivating an association, and he did that for no reason. So I know how he is. On top of that, knowing that I don't like him, knowing that I don't mess with him, knowing that I don't fuck with him, he turned around and stole my content and then edited me out of my own content, girl, and drove my receipts all up and through his platform on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, and didn't even as much so as credit me for my work, my extensive work, girl, because I had put in work to get those interviews done during my birthday weekend, trying to help Storm, trying to help Von Ray. So for this bitch to know I don't fuck with him and to act like I'm some hater ass hoe, but yet you hoverboarding over here because you're a fan bitch like the rest of them. Okay. I even gave you the blueprint, girl, okay, for how you get your teeth properly done, bitch. And you couldn't even do that right. Just like you couldn't even do TGIF right, girl, when I gave you the blueprint, girl, for how you get your teeth properly capped, honey. Okay, so you just went from all lower caps to all uppercase letters in your fucking mouth with those big receding ass gums, girl. Okay, you just can't do anything correctly. Okay, so I'm just like, girl, why you keep fucking with me? And then when I'm on your neck, you want to play the victim role and like, oh, these girls are having to talk about me. Girl, you could have just left me alone. I wasn't thinking about your ass. When you over here ciphering my content, stealing my content, girl, like, what does it really give, honey? Because, see, this is the way, and I'm going to bring Moonshine up, girl. I just want to show and do this one thing really quick here. Hold on, okay? This is how your mouth is supposed to look. Do I have my beautiful Colgate's mask? Do I have her? Is she up here? Is she up here? How doing? I don't know what the fuck. I got so much shit on my damn computer desk, girl. You better be glad, bitch, that I cannot make you feel inferior, girl, with this beautiful smile, girl. Okay. Because, girl, I tried to lay it out for you. And you just can't do it, honey. Okay? You're giving Al Reynolds energy. You know? Oh, did I really delete it? Damn. Oh, let me go to my Instagram. Honey, let me pull up my old Nasty's Instagram, honey. Okay? Because this is how it was supposed to be done, girl. Because, girl. And then, remember, I told y'all, girl, several people had the job. Funky Dineva confirmed all of that, honey. It was just a fix. I don't have no reason to be hating on these girls. They don't have nothing I want. The things that they get are things I turn down. And because we two different girls with two different mentalities about life, girl, the things that she thinks she's winning on are really L's for me. You know? Okay, see? This is what it was supposed to give. Okay? All right. Take a good look, girl. I had paved the way for your porcelain, girl. I had paved the way for your alignment, girl. Do you see the tooth to gum ratio? Okay? Do you see that, girl? Okay, bitch, you look like you've been smoking Newports for over a decade and a half, Miss Mamas. Okay? Your gum line is matching your hairline, girl. It's all push the fuck back. Okay? I don't know if this is why you're so tense and this is why you're so tight. Okay? But I tried. All you had to do is ask me for a recommendation, girl, for a old nasty piece of referral, honey. I could have got you discounted, girl. You went down to Mexico and paid all of $350, girl. I could have got you a better setup for free. Nonetheless, let's go ahead and bring up Miss Nurse Sunshine to the table. Okay. Hey, Nurse.
Hey, sweetie, how you doing? Can you hear
I'm
me?
doing awesome. Yes. How you doing?
I'm beautiful. And this Nurse Moonshine, you said it right the first time when you were
Okay,
going off.
period.
Let me do my little spiel real quick, and then I want to give you your flowers, okay? First of all, what's up, Consciouztv, and to his audience? This your girl, Sam Doles, a.k.a. Nurse Moonshine.
Okay.
And what's interesting is that what brought me to you is all the Fox Soul drama 2-3 months ago, a few months back. That's how I found you. And what really stuck out about you to me is that you were saying what wasn't being said. So that was beautiful to me, being a very outspoken person, a live out loud person. Sometimes the bad guy just for calling shit what it is, excuse me for cussing, but you do a lot of that anyway. So I wanted to thank you for that. And I'm gonna go into a couple of points here, and then I'm gonna let you go. Okay. What I found interesting, yes, I did watch the Carlos King interview with Funky Dineva. What was interesting when Carlos asked Funky Dineva basically to give a character statement about Al Reynolds. You don't understand? And I noticed the pause. There was a long pause. Now, if you ask me about my friend, somebody who I truly think highly of and who I love and respect, I don't have to hem and ha. And Funky Dineva does not hem and ha. He has a loud voice that echoes. He's very articulate, very well spoken. He does not mince his words. So I just found it interesting that he was not quick to respond. It was like he had to think about it. He chose his words carefully. And in choosing his words carefully, two things. Number one, he made it a point to say, Al and I are not best friends like people think we are. We cool. You understand what I'm saying? You know, I call him, you know, blah, 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 but it's not what people think it is. And then, like, as you stated, to say to the whole world, to use the word insecure. I feel like a wordsmith such as himself, to use that, to describe Al that way. To me, he was saying some things without saying it, if that makes sense. And again, going back to you being a person who was calling stuff out, I feel, even if he didn't mean to, I don't know, because I love Funky, and you know, I may meet him one day, so I don't want it to be any bad blood because I'm a smaller YouTuber, but I am a YouTuber all the same. However, at the end of the day, I think that spoke volumes as to what he could potentially think of Al. Because what I have seen played out publicly, for me, it does paint the picture to me that Al is messy. And another thing that he did confirm when Carlos King made the statement about the roast, he was like, you know, because some of it was true. And Funky said, no, all of it was true. You know, so he spilled some tea with that statement. Yeah, he spilled some tea even with that statement. He said, no, all of it was true. So that was even confirmatory. So you described him as insecure, and then all the negative things that the op said about Al, you confirmed that it was all true. I don't disagree with the logic that oh God, you got everybody calling this man horse face, which I think when I said, let me tell you something. I told my mama, I say he don't miss with calling him everything but Armon. I have never seen somebody successfully deliver a read consistently.
Because swiftly. It's in my heart, Nurse. It's in my heart, Moonshine. You know, it's in your heart.
It's in your heart and it's in your veins. Yes, Lord, that shit is hilarious. But I'm gonna tell you this. Also, I'm 43 years old, so I don't keep up with these new age rap cultures, these girls. So again, I didn't know anything about Armon until Fox Soul was looking for the new host. But I will tell you this, as somebody who is well known and respected for having the gift of prophecy and discernment, well known and respected. When he was on the scene, I was in the comment section on Fox Soul saying, Claudia, be careful who you let in your house. I was in the comment section saying, be careful who you let in your house. I just did not read him. I read him well, and I didn't read him well. I just didn't. Bless his heart. And I'm going to say this because I'm a person who I talk to people all over the world. And, so you never know who you're gonna, you're gonna be assigned to help and assist. So you don't want to be around here talking shit about people. And then you go back on somebody's Instagram or Twitter. You understand what I'm saying? And they done prophesied to you and they helping you, but they've been roasting you and going in on you. So I'm just, you got to be careful with stuff like that. However, there was just something about him. Now I respect where you're coming from and why you feel the way you feel about him. However, he has some work. I will say this, and I want to tell you this. He hears you. Spiritually, I see he hear y'all. He does. And he can act unbothered. It affects him because there is, and I'm glad that I can appreciate Funky Dineva's word uses when he said that there's some maturity that needs to take place, because there is a little boy in there that needs to be nurtured and mentored, and not just professionally.
Yeah.
So it's there. So it doesn't surprise me, because from the gate I was like, Claudia, be careful who you let in your house. But she really didn't have any control over it.
Yeah. And did you feel that way after, did you feel that way and that was after kind of being a fan of Wiggins? Or
remember, I told you I didn't know of him before the Fox show. Remember, So again, I'm telling you, just seeing him, and when I laid my spiritual eyes on him, I was like, not this guy. There was just something there that just seemed disingenuous and problematic. And again, two truths can exist at once. And this is coming from, I'm a mother, I'm a woman, and I'm a flawed human, and I'm very vocal about who I am. You understand what I'm saying? So with that being said, he can, that doesn't mean that I think he's a bad person, but it comes a time when you have to do the fucking work. And that's what I like about your message, your delivery. You talk about doing the work a lot, and doing the work is important. And I can speak on that because for years I shied away from it. Ooh, I don't want to do the work. That's too hard.
Yeah.
Ooh, I don't want to look at me. Ooh, that's too hard. But when you do it, it's very freeing, and I can say that from an elevated space. Not that, and the work is continual, but I can do that from the space of, I know what it's like to do the work and shed those layers and grow. You understand what I'm saying? I also, again, I wanted to give you your flowers, because when you were talking about people being given opportunities, and I remember, and this was more recently, and you said even smaller YouTubers, and that would be people like me, people who I may not have the reach at this point in this way on this platform that yourself and a lot of others have, but I still have a big message, and I have a lot of work that I have to do, and there's a lot of work that gets done. Who could be used mightily, and that was a big opportunity to fumble. That was, and he wasn't ready. And again, what you do is, your coworkers are not your friend. You bring your ass to work, you do your job, you go home. But even outside of the drama, he just wasn't the person.
But
even with the topics, and he just wasn't the guy.
And this is why I said what I was saying earlier, and why I've said it and screamed it from the rooftop every time I come to talk about this situation. It's so unfortunate, because another big stumbling block for Wendy Wiggins, aside from his own attitude and immaturity and his own complexities, is that he has a bunch of yes people around him too. Yes. And so in situations where it's time for him to win, he can't even optimize, because the people who are yesing him have ultimately indirectly groomed him for the sabotage. Instead of telling him what he need to be told. That's why I had to give Funky his props for being like, okay, he got proximity to Wiggins. They have access to each other via phone, and yet Funky stood on business in his interview and called it down the middle and said, I'm not going to say anything here that I'm not going to say to his face. He needs to grow up. He needs to grow up. And that's what he needs to be told by his peers. That's what he needs to be told by people that are within his sphere, that, he does have his ears on, because, of course he can't hear it from somebody like me. He can't hear it from Sherelle, because he's already deemed us as etc. Even though he's at fault for why that contention exists. But nonetheless, for the people who he don't got the energy with, it's important to tell him and tell anybody the actual truth. The truth helps people, even if it hurts their egos. Ultimately, when they sit in that and they're willing to grow and take that in, people will appreciate you telling them what need to be told, and that's the aid and abets a person in being able to continue on prosperously in their path. I don't know what good people think that they are doing by sitting there telling him that, yeah, you know, you're gonna be blessed. It's just like this, the third. No, you saw him blow it. You seen all the moving parts, and instead of just giving him the professional and the spiritual feedback, you're just gonna play the fluff game. How many times are you gonna have to fluff him after he's blown it for himself, rather than give him the tough conversation, so that this is a conversation that y'all don't actually have to have again, because he's getting it.
Absolutely. And again, I'm big on it's not what you do, but how you do it. There was a lot that needed to be said. The way it was done, I'm gonna be honest with you, I personally didn't have a problem with the roast, but also it didn't cost me my job either. Seriously, and again, and I'm a person who, you know what, hey, it is what it is. Hold on, look, I'm reading the screen, which I need to stay focused, but I'm reading the screen.
Stay focused.
No, I'm serious. No, but seriously though, it's not what you do, it's how you do it. We all fall short, but when I look at the pattern, there's yourself, there's Tasha K, there's T.S. Madison, now there's Fox. So there's a lot of fallout there, and I done fell out with enough motherfuckers in my own life, you know, to where I understand, like, okay, when it gets to a certain point, you got to look at yourself and say, okay, I'm the common denominator here. What's going on with me? And he needs to do that. And again, I was saying this, just watching everything play out and watching you completely go to hell off weeks ago. I'm like, this guy is just calling everything what it is, and I love it. And everybody was ganging up on Claudia, and I'm like, nah, that ain't what it. Now, I'm not saying that, you know, she don't have her hand in her stuff too. Don't get me wrong. First of all, I love Claudia for president. I'm one of those people. However, at the end of the day, again, like, just because something goes wrong don't mean that it has to be her, because there's another common denominator there too, and that's Al Reynolds. Exactly. And again, for Funky, his word usage today was very interesting, and I was like, you know, I can keep him like really pause, and he chose his words very carefully about Al, and he confirmed that everything Armon said was accurate.
Yeah.
So if everything Armon said was the truth,
there it is.
Then who really was the problem?
What's the problem? Now, let me ask you, because you are very intuitive and very discerning and very articulate yourself. What do you think the whole dog piling was about when it came to Claudia? Why do you believe so many people were willing to make her the villain behind the roast, make her the point of focus behind the downfall of TGIF? What do you think that energy collectively was about?
It was easy. She's a woman, and she's a black woman.
There it is, yeah.
She's a woman. She's a girl. She's a girl, and she ain't. Claudia can read a bitch down. Don't get me wrong. I'm a bitch who would read you down. And I was also one who would fight. So that also too, you know, when people know who to and who not to try. So you knew who you could get away with what with. Case in point, that's what Tasha K's whole thing was about, because Tasha wants to be back in relationship with Funky. So that was her hate. That was her way of establishing solidarity. Because what the hell you going to Claudia for? Where that come from? That was so left field and so unnecessary. But on brand for Tasha. You know, that's typical Tasha. How anybody let me hush. let me leave that alone. But that was I knew what that was when I saw it. That's Tasha pandering to Funky because she still wants to be in relationship with Funky. Yeah. That's exactly what that was. So let me go with Claudia Jordan. First of all, Claudia Jordan is more successful than everybody yet we're speaking of at this time. You understand what I'm saying? So again, she's the easy target. She's a woman. She's had public drama before play out.
A lot of that criticism, Nurse, was coming also from other women. I couldn't.
Other women. That's my point. Like that's just how it is out here. Again, I used to be close friends with somebody, and she used to always say that she couldn't subscribe to the adage "Black girls rock" because of the way we treat each other. I'm still currently healing in my relationships with Black women, because of how we treat each other and the shit we do. And so this is just on brand for that. So she just, you know, again, that is how I randomly stumbled upon you. And when I heard what you were saying, I was like, see, this is somebody who gets it, because he telling everybody about their ass. And you were calling it accurately. And again, there were some things that were hypocritical in some of Funky's statements. And again, I love Funky, but when you speak to lack of professionalism, it's like, really, Funky?
Right.
Come on.
Right. It's like, and I love, you see, I'm in that place where I understand that love is truth. And so it's like, I can love you and still tell you the truth. Telling you the truth and calling you on your bull crap doesn't make me a hater. It don't mean that I'm disingenuous and I don't support you. And I love Funky Down. I have such immense respect for him and what he's done for content creating space and what he has been able to show the larger media space, what digital content creators and performers and personalities can bring to the table. I consider him to be a godfather, an elder, auntie, you know, as it relates to this genre and business. Give him all the praise. And yes, he can be wrong as hell, and he could be petty, he could be contradictory, hypocritical, and I just can't help but also make that a part of my assessments, because I really try not to get into idolizing anybody in that way. I want to be able to tell the negative and have a clear lens, and I think that makes the world go better when we can have people who calling us out, because it's just the truth. It's not the truth. Yeah, it's not agenda driven. It's not about nothing. It's just about what it is, and we can take that and make ourselves better from it or not.
And you know, I'm gonna say this. You know Claudia better than that. Claudia knows me by name on Instagram because she anytime I say something, she always loves what I say. And I even went in her inbox and said something prophetically to her once, and she loved it. So I'm pretty sure the name Nurse Moonshine. You kind of can, you know, it sticks with you. But one thing that I hope that she walks away from this with is, Claudia, baby, you can't put everybody on. You just can't. You know, she's a person who she like to get a coin. She like to put her friends on. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But from the moment I saw him, and again, I didn't know him, but I just saw, I said, Claudia, be careful who you let in your house. And I'm known for accuracy. And again, it was another thing, even on a deeper level, that drew me to you. It wasn't just what you were saying. I could see your heart. And I don't know if anybody ever has told you this. And let me be careful with my word usage, because I'm not a Christian. I didn't leave God, but I left church ministry all that years ago. I completely unplugged from all the dogma. But I look at you, I said, he's a pastor. I wonder if he knows it. Have you heard that before?
I was told that my whole life growing up.
Boy, my
way of pastor.
I said he's a pastor. Exactly. This is you doing your thing. We at church, and so you understand that, and I want you to know that I understand that, and even from a spiritual and emotional standpoint, I appreciate your work out here. I do see and hear your hurt. I hear it loud. I hear it clear. The anger, the outrage. You are seen. You are heard. It is warranted. And but keep going, because it gets greater later. Because a lot of times, the love and the goodness doesn't come from the source. God sends it back in other ways.
Absolutely.
And because Horseface really pissed you off. Listen, when the way that you kept that horse with them damn glasses on up on the screen for the full duration of oh my good, it's so comical, but everything
so funny, Nurse, is that I don't. It's like I have my surface reasons why I don't mess with him, but really I just want the same thing for him that I want for anybody. Anybody that ends up on my radar is just to do better, better, you know. But I'm the kind of person who also, I have a meet them where they are attitude. Like, there are people who are humbled enough to where you can take a soft approach with them. But then when you have people who have really bona fide super egos and have distorted egos, you kind of got to put a hammer to that. You know, and really, really hammer away. So yes, my execution of constructive feedback is probably considered a bit on the, he probably would argue that it's on the harsher side of criticism, but I know he would not be able to hear me because if I took a soft approach, and I know that because he and I have been in association.
You've had a relationship with him before, so you know you understand the topology.
I've been there and done that with him, and there's a really big ego issue. So I hope that.
But I'm telling you, and again, I'm quote unquote, I don't have a big name in this YouTube space. I have a name in my world. I'm an author. People know me, but that's in my world, but again, and he may be somebody I may end up, I didn't even know that he does readings and stuff. I didn't know anything about, and again, that's the spiritual space. That's my space. I didn't know anything about that. And again, that's why I don't want to dog him, but I do see that there's work that needs to be done, but I'm telling y'all, he's listening.
Oh yeah,
he's listening. He's listening, and he's taking it to heart, and he's hurting. He ain't gonna come out and say that because ego, but he's listening, and I'm glad I had the chance to talk to you. I was gonna message you on Instagram, but I was just like, a lot of people came up. Yeah, I'm glad I did too.
It was very informative and enlightening. Yeah.
All right, and I want to say this. I know you don't know me, but I love you, and I want you to hear that more in your life from a genuine space, and I feel like you are gonna get more of that. And again, I appreciate what you do, and I appreciate how you do it because it's needed.
Thank you so much. It really does mean a lot. It really does mean a lot, and I take that to heart. And I'm gonna just marinate in all that good energy. So really, thank you for that. And I love you too. Could you let people know where they can find you at on these spaces and support you?
All righty. Well, I am Nurse Moonshine. I'm Nurse Moonshine every damn well. You can find me on TikTok. I'm right here on YouTube, Sam Doles, aka Nurse Moonshine. I'm a published author. So if you type in Sam Doles, a lot gonna come up on Amazon. I'm just everywhere. I'm on Facebook under Sam Doles, aka Nurse Moonshine. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, you name it, just hit me up. And again, I'm known and respected for accuracy. And I also come with the disclaimer that I do not work with everybody. So when you hit me up, if you're trying to get a reading, either God gonna give me a yes, no, or not right now. So don't take it personally.
That part. I love that.
Look, and I say this, hey, look, every client ain't my client, every dollar ain't my dollar, and every message ain't mine to give. So I don't work with everybody. I have to protect my peace. So
I love that. Authentic and genuine. Well, thank you so much, Nurse Moonshine. I'm gonna be checking you out too, boo. So
thank you, beloved.
Good work.
Thank you.
And blessing on your journey. Continue to network. Continue to show your face and
thank you,
get yourself out there, because this is a very communal space. There's a lot of great people in this space. It's a lot of supportive people in this space. So don't hesitate, to come around and do your thing.
I appreciate that. I got to work on opening myself up because, you know how I can be out, because I'm learning YouTube is just as cliquish as anywhere else, you know. So, but if people Facebook has always been my main platform. So if people go and they find me on Facebook and just slide down my timeline and see all the readings, the receipts are there.
Okay, nice. Okay, well, you know what? I'm like, hell, I'm gonna check you out, and maybe we could do some collaborations. And
I've been had a message for you, but it was just a matter of you hearing me in the time. I've been had a message for you. Don't worry, I got you. I'll hit you up.
Okay, hit me up, Chai. Hit me up, Nurse. Get me
all right,
together, honey. All right,
be blessed, honey bunch. Have a good one. All righty.
Y'all, that was great, honey. We got some great feedback. Got some grounded folk up here to talk some things. Funky Dineva let to have, girl. So we gonna see what it's gonna give, child. Is it about to be war 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, girl? Who knows? But once again, shout out to Funky Dineva for standing on business. Not being a pussy asshole, telling that nigga what he need to be told, calling it down the middle, not feeding into the delusion of his goddamn egotism and his sin, and that put an extra bit of respect, like that kind of made me, that kind of turned me on a little bit. Damn, babe, I was like, funky girl, because it's just so inauthentic out here, and it's so many people who are directly and indirectly encouraging the foolishness of it all, baby. We need people really out here standing on business and really out here calling it down the middle. And you ain't got to always do that in some destructive, low vibrational way, but just nonetheless stand on business and call it down the middle. Just call it down the middle. You can call it down the middle in your own way, but nonetheless, call it down the middle. Because if we ain't here to help each other, then what exactly are we doing here, baby? Okay, so this was an amazing show. You guys catch Funky Dineva over at Carlos King, girl. He got into all the things, honey. Y'all got some more pieces of the puzzle as it relates to TGIF. I'm curious to know, if the rest of it is going to come up and out. We shall see. I think I covered all of my talking points here. I'm going over my list. Says yep. I got everything done. All right, y'all. So I'll see you all soon. Thank you for having me, and thanks. Okay, make sure that you guys support and give my boo Sam Dawes, aka Nurse Moonshine. Okay, give her a quick interview. Let her know that CTV sent you. We're gonna be checking you out, love, and y'all be blessed. And if you enjoyed yourself, hit the old nasty piece of Cash App, $Consciouztv, spelt just like it is here, or PayPal.me/Consciouztv, spelt just how it is here. And I will see y'all later. Bye.